Alright, how's it going everybody, and welcome to the Occult Review with me, your host Bellart Wright. And today we're talking some Dragon Ball Super Chapter 60 reviews. Today we'll be reviewing, like I just said, Chapter 60, Maris's Miscalculation, and we'll be talking about that. What you guys may notice if you've been keeping up with my other Dragon Ball Super manga chapter reviews is that I did skip Chapter 59, and that's because as I was looking over Chapter 59, I just didn't feel like there was much to review there. And because I had other stuff to do that month, so I just didn't feel the need to review that one. But in the nutshell, basically Goku and Moro started fighting. Goku was using Ultra Instinct Sign, or Ultra Instinct Omen. I believe they're the same thing, I'm not entirely sure. And the only new bit of information we really learned was that Ultra Instinct Sign has a stamina issue, which is pretty much retreading old ground when it comes to Goku getting a new form and not really being able to, control it because of stamina issues. Same with Frieza, but I just didn't. There just wasn't much to dissect there. It was just a fight Goku was having. Goku was dominating Moro at first, and then after that, he just his form was having stamina issues, so he started performing poorly. The only cool thing about the fight, to me, as far as the choreography goes, was that Maris was showing that he knew some sort of telekinesis to where he could lock Goku's limbs down. I thought that was really cool, but for me to do a whole review on that fight was just, I didn't feel like there was any value in that. But this time we got a chapter that's more fully loaded with things to talk about, including the fight itself. I think this chapter had a much more interesting fight than the last chapter. And there's a lot more happening here as well. It's not just the Goku and Moro fight, but there's things happening with Vegeta, as well as some of the other characters as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And of course, like my other reviews, this will be sort of a page-by-page look into Chapter 60. So, and I'll just preface this by saying you guys can check out the chapter Dragon Ball Super Chapter 60, as well as chapters 59 and 58 for free if you guys go to viz.com/shonen jump, and then from there you'll be able to find the latest Dragon Ball Super chapter for free. So you'll be able to check out the latest 3 chapters for free. So let's go ahead and get into it. To start off with, we have the opening page, and of course this is a manga written by Akira Toriyama with art by Toyotaro. Again, I think Toyotaro deserves more of the writing credit, or at least co-writing credit, but I think he is doing the heavy lifting as far as the writing goes, but that's just my speculation. But to start off with, we have Goku and Moro facing off, and they're both powering up, and Whis and Maris are talking about Maris doesn't understand what Goku is doing because he had a strategy for Goku going into this fight, and that strategy was to basically limit the amount of power he was using, and what's the word for it, and pace himself. Basically, he wanted Goku to pace himself in this fight, but it doesn't look like Goku will be doing that, because at the end of the last chapter, Moro was just kind of waiting him out, and then he weighed Goku out to the point where he figured if he used his full power he could dominate Goku, but Goku pretty much at the last minute summoned all of his power at once to combat Moro, and that's where we are right now. So, and that's what Whis is going to explain to us. He says, "Oh my, it seems he's changed his strategy. Both combatants will be fighting at full power." So that's going to be that first opening page. And after that, the next page, we get some pretty cool art of them powering up. Goku looking very, very buff right here, and then Moro looking very demonic, very, very evil as he powers up. And they both got some pretty big auras, but it's nothing we haven't seen from Dragon Ball before. It's not like their auras are bigger than the planet or something like that. It's just they're just raising their auras. And the cool thing about this is that their auras are clashing with each other. I do like this bit of art with the auras clashing. And everybody's around watching it, and everybody's being pushed back by their power and has to I guess recoil from it, which at this point, even if your power is bigger, I don't think it will generate enough wind to actually like harm these guys. So I'm a little bit sick of this trope where a character's power is so strong that they're getting pushed back by the wind and stuff like that. At a certain point, these characters wouldn't be pushed back by this stuff. So I think this is pretty lame to keep resorting to that trope. And the other characters are, of course, reacting to the fight. We get some reaction shots. And then after that, Goku leaps into the fray, as does Moro. And they close in on each other. And Goku powers up one final time right in Moro's face. And Moro is actually pushed back by it. So from here, Moro is airborne. And he fires off. Well, he projects this huge energy blast over his head with one hand, and then he tries to fire it off, but Goku kicks it away. Like he's just outspeeds him pretty much. And then he hits him with a sick elbow and sends him flying and does a follow-up attack. He does his follow-up kick, like a downward kick right into Moro's gut, and that launches Moro down towards the ground. But Moro actually catches Goku's foot and then whips him around and slams him into the ground. He uses the momentum that Goku summoned from that kick against Goku. But the thing is, there's no motion wasted right here, because Moro goes to basically slam Goku, and Goku does this sick backflip from this attack, and then uses his foot to whip Moro backwards, I should say. He does it's kind of like a backwards flip, but because Moro has his hand on Goku's foot, Goku just whips him from that position, and then Moro catches himself and lands on his feet, which is it's some pretty cool artwork. I'm gonna have to use quite a few panels in order to actually show you guys how this is done. I'm not gonna try to use too many, but it is a really cool bit of choreography, and that's why I found this fight to be much more interesting than the last chapter. And from there, we get Goku spamming some ki blasts, and he spams so many of them that dust is created around Moro. But Moro appears out of the dust looking quite gigantic, actually, and tries to get his arms around Goku. Goku blocks one of his punches, and they start trading blows, really fast blows, and then they lock. It looks like they're locking hands here. Yeah, they end up locking hands, and they're both really enjoying the fight at this point. It looks kind of even, but from what we've seen before, I think Goku will have much more of an advantage. Then we cut back to Whis and Maris, and they're talking about they're both basically concerned about Goku. Maris doesn't think Goku can hold the form while fighting at full power. He's wondering how he's able to do that, but I'm seeing him express doubt here. And Whis says if Goku had even followed Maris's advice to conserve his stamina so that he could maintain the form longer, Whis says that Goku basically wouldn't be able to even make much headway against Moro. And that's where we get the name of the chapter, Maris's miscalculation, because Maris, that strategy just would not work against Moro. You can't be conservative against this guy because he's a lot stronger than either one of them gave him credit for, either Maris or Goku gave him credit for. So we go back to the fight with Moro and Goku looks to have a dominant role. He's landing all his blows, and Moro doesn't seem to have any way to combat this. He doesn't seem to have any answers to Goku's speed and power. And we finally get some words after Goku just annihilates him and punches him into, I believe, a mountain, or at least a rocky, some sort of rocky landmark. And Moro comes out of the smoke saying perhaps he approached this too cautiously after all, talking about Goku. And he mentions that if this is truly the extent of Goku's power, then he will not fall to Goku. So he's been holding back even now, it seems, or at the very least he doesn't find Goku's output of power to be very threatening at all. And basically Goku kind of gives us a glimpse into why this is. Goku says, "Damn it, what is your body even made of?" And that just clues us in that Maris is far more powerful, far more of a defensive aura than we thought he was able to project. And we asked Maris if Moro's strength exceeds his expectations, and Maris says that basically he didn't expect him to grow this powerful, really this fast. It happened pretty frequently. And he says that Goku has sensed that as well. And it seems like Goku's decision to tap into his full potential right away, right at this moment, is a bit of a mistake. But his back against the wall, he doesn't really have any other choice in the matter. And that's kind of what we says here. He says Saiyans are known to exhibit untold power when their backs are against the wall, especially Goku. So he gives Goku a little bit of credit here and says that maybe Goku's gonna pull something out with his back against the wall like it is. And then Whis turns to Maris and also says, and Vegeta, mentioning that he can do the same that Goku can. And we actually cut to a panel of Vegeta here on Yardrat training, and there's a pile of Yardrats, of the smaller Yardrats, and it seems that Vegeta's conquered whatever techniques he's been practicing. It looks like he's been practicing on these little Yardrats, so it must be something really interesting. Maybe something that because they're all like tired, so maybe it's something that like drains their power. Whatever this is going to be an interesting technique. I don't think it's going to be purely offensive either. I think it's going to be something that probably another draining technique. So similar to Moro is what I'm thinking. And so we cut to the Grand Elder Pubara, and he praises Vegeta and says that Vegeta has mastered the technique in such little time. And if it seems like Vegeta's this is the first time Vegeta's actually successfully completed the technique, and he's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it, and Vegeta turns to sense Earth, getting the sense that Earth is still in one piece, and he rejoices in the fact that he'll be able to make it to Earth in time. And he asks Pubara to actually, or Pibara I should say, he asks Pibara to transport him to Earth, and Pibara unfortunately tells him that he can't go to Earth, and his reasons for not being able to go to Earth are kind of flimsy, but he gives so many reasons in such a short amount of time that it kind of just nails the point home that he won't be able to go to Earth. But it's kind of weird, and I'll go ahead and get into why. So he says that Yardratians are forbidden from using instant teleportation to travel off their home planets, which is weird in and of itself, but okay, that's fine. If that's a rule, that's a rule. It seems like you'd be able to break that if the universe was in danger, but okay, that's fine. And then he says, furthermore, we can only teleport to the location of someone we've met before, which is also very strange, because Goku doesn't seem to have that limitation at all. He's able to do it based on any key signature, but maybe it's because Goku's a prodigy. But that doesn't seem to make sense to me, because this is the technique of this race. He's the Grand Elder of this race, and it seems like he would be able to know all the ifs, ands, and buts about the technique and be able to use it whenever. So this is, and it gets even weirder after this, because okay, we'll just keep going, and you guys will see why it gets so weird. So Vegeta basically recommends him teleporting to Goku because the Grand Elders met Goku before, which makes sense. And the Grand Elder Pibara says that yes, he does know Goku's spirit, but he's unable to detect it at the moment, which makes sense because Goku was in his godly form. And he asks Vegeta why that is, and Vegeta says, yes, the fool must be using Ultra Instinct, and only gods can sense that godly chi. Why he calls Goku a fool here, I don't know, because why would he use any other form but a god form? I think it would be foolish to honestly use anything else but either Super Saiyan Blue or Ultra Instinct Omen Sign or Ultra Instinct Omen. So Vegeta calling him a fool here is weird. And then the Galactic Patrol member who was with Vegeta recommends, or he says that if they were to take the spaceship now, it would take at least 10 days. So Vegeta says, teach me. Everybody's wondering what he's talking about. And he says he wants him to teach him instant teleportation right now. And Pibara is like, what? Right now? And Vegeta promises to master it faster than anybody before. I'll just go into why this is weird. Why everything Pibara is talking about is weird. In case you guys missed it. And it's because he basically kind of let slip that he would have teleported Vegeta to to Goku, because it sounds like he's been thinking about it. He's been trying to sense Goku, sense where he is. But they just gave us like 3 different reasons for him not being able to use this thing, and none of them make sense really. So all they had to do was really say that they could have gave this last one with him only being able to teleport to someone he's met before, which is pretty weak in and of itself. Or it probably should have been that he can't teleport that far. I would have accepted that, like he can't teleport that far, unless it's somebody he knows. That would have made more sense. But him just saying he can't teleport unless it's somebody he's met before, that just seems really pointless to me. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on from that. We cut back to the Goku versus Maris fight, or Goku versus Moro, and Moro's really starting to dominate Goku. Goku's now missing all his attacks, and Moro's getting some good hits in. And he boasts to Goku. He's like, "Oh, what happened to your speed?" He specifically says, "What happens to your trademark speed?" And the Peanut Gallery, Piccolo and Gohan are like, Goku's attacks aren't landing, which we can clearly see already. And Goku tries more attacks, and they're also failing, and he's really pushed back. He's battle damaged, and it seems like he's reached his limit, which Moro also comments on. And he gives Goku some credit here. He's shocked that Goku could amass such power, and Goku is very defiant in the face of this, and he tries to power up again. His muscles are bulging, and it looks like he's even gotten some Super Saiyan Blue sort of energy around him. It's those little kind of globals of energy that Super Saiyan Blue is known to produce with those weird shapes. And it seems like he's using power that isn't inherent with Ultra Instinct. This is totally different type of power. And we go to the next page where Goku is squaring off against Moro. He's using blows with more power, and maybe he's augmenting his speed with more power as well. But we cut to Maris, who says that Goku's tactic won't work because by relying on sheer power alone, he can't make use of Ultra Instinct strength. So Ultra Instinct isn't really known for its sheer power. It does give you a power augmentation, at least to the Saiyans, at least to Goku, but it's not supposed to be used in conjunction with this power that Goku seems to be channeling from Blue. And even though Goku's pushing Moro back, Moro responds with this huge mouth blast, and it basically takes Goku out, puts Goku flat on his back. And we cut back to Whis, who's watching the fight. He says, "Sadly, it doesn't look like we'll be witnessing any miracles today." And I believe this is Maris saying this. He says it wasn't supposed to go like this. And Beerus seems to be annoyed, very annoyed that Goku's losing. And he cuts and he says, "Hey Whis, I'm starving." So I thought this was to mean that they were trying to go to Earth to kind of intervene. I thought Beerus was kind of just like being a tsundere, I guess, and trying to go to Earth, despite him allegedly not caring about it. But no, Beerus continues and says he wants to chow down on something tasty very well. And Maris is kind of taken aback, and he mentions that at this rate, Earth and other planets will be pretty much destroyed. And then Whis reminds him of their role in all this. He says, "Maris, the birth and death of planets is simply a part of the great and long cycle of the universe. And excessive meddling on their part could affect the natural flow of these matters, which is not necessarily a good thing." So he's trying to stay neutral in all this. And of course, Maris says he understands that much, but he has a heart. Like, he actually wants to intervene in all this. And Whis gives us a bit more clarity into what this hierarchy of universal oversight looks like. So Whis tells us that only the likes of Lord Beerus and the Lord of Lords can decide such things, and that even the angels shouldn't interfere in these matters. And he tells him never forget that. And it looks like Maris accepts that. Alright, and then we cut to Goku and Moro fighting again, and Goku's of course still getting his ass whooped. Moro is like bouncing Goku around, landing huge blows on him, and then he lands this huge one-footed stomp and puts Goku right on the ground on his back again. And it looks like he's about to finish Goku off. And that's when we get a surprising bit of interference. We get Android 17 and 18. And they're going to really surprise you in the next couple of pages. So Android 17 and 18, they try to get a blow on Mares, who can't sense them because they don't have ki. So they make the ultimate stealth bombers, backstabbers, stealth bombers, assassins. They can make some really good assassins. They could be even better than Hit if they decide to pursue that path. And yeah, they start talking trash to Moro about the fact that he can't absorb their energy. And Moro is instantly knows that they're artificial life forms. So if you're not aware of this, Moro is used to characters such as 7-3, who seems to be composed of similar technology to these androids. So apparently in the universe, there's somebody else who's just as good at making androids as Dr. Gero is. So this is a bit of lore they probably should have went into before this plot got started, or something that they should dive into at a certain point. But apparently these two aren't anything special. Apparently yeah, artificial life forms are a thing in the universe. So then we cut to Vegeta again on Yardrat, who's trying to master instant transmission. He messes it up and ends up in a trash can for some humor. And after that, he gets it. He says he only needs it to work it. He only needs this to work once. He's fine if he can never do it again. So this is a bit heavy-handed. They could have just like kind of waited to reveal this to us later. But this is to set up that Vegeta won't really be using this technique too much. And now it seems that they can sense Goku because Goku's been knocked out of Ultra Instinct, or Ultra Instinct Sign. And Vegeta, of course, calls Goku a fool again, and mentions that he must have lost to Goku. So it seems that whenever Vegeta's got a position of power, he starts calling Goku fool again. I don't remember him calling Goku fool in Dragon Ball Super before this, at least not quite as frequently. And see, yeah, MP Bar mentions because this is an emergency, he's going to go ahead and transport Vegeta to Earth. And Vegeta says not so fast. He has a feeling that he can pull it off. Which is, again, this is all this thing with Vegeta and P-Bara trying to figure out who's going to use instant teleportation is a very strange and feels a bit contrived plot point. Yeah, just have P-Bara teleport him. Like, why is it all? Why do you have all this build up and like P-Bara putting all these stipulations on teleportation, which seems pointless, and then he's gonna do it anyway. And then we're gonna see here Vegeta's actually gonna use instant teleportation, but he's putting all these rules on it, like he's only gonna use it once or whatever. Like, it's, to me, it's completely pointless. Like, either you give it to him or you don't, and you don't have to have all this willy or won'ty and all this stuff. It's a bit the build up for that is artificial, and it really just kind of like makes you question like the actual mechanics of like why this stuff works. Like, why would the Yardras have such limitations on this technique? I just don't understand it. But moving past that, Vegeta does in fact use instant teleportation, and he thanks the Yardrats for teaching him all this stuff. He's very grateful. So this is definitely a more mature Vegeta than before. P-Bara shows that he knows magic materialization as well, and he conjures some clothes for Vegeta. Some clothes that are more traditional for Vegeta. So Vegeta's wearing the Saiyan armor, and he has the Galactic Patrol symbol on it. And yeah, P-Bara wishes Vegeta well, and Vegeta teleports to Earth. And he does leave behind the other Galactic Patrol member, but that's just fine. And of course, the Grand Elder is giving Vegeta all sorts of praise. Calls him a prodigy like 3 different times. What was that, 2 times or 3 times? He directly calls him a prodigy twice, but it's kind of 3 times because he does allude to him being a prodigy right before that. And then we cut to a surprising panel of the androids doing surprisingly well against Moro. Not only do they get some hits in on him, which which don't do much damage as they shouldn't at this point. He's at such a level of power, but together they actually managed to harm him. They actually managed to wound him. It's not a lot of damage, but the fact that they wounded him shows that they are quite powerful. And Moro is actually impressed with their power as well. He says, such power, it's a shame I can't steal it. After they do this sick combination attack. I wish I could show you guys all the panels, but you guys would just have to read the manga to see it. But they do this really sick combination that leaves this like X-shaped cross of energy on his chest. It's really sick. And this actually goes to one of my complaints in the previous arcs with Android 18. Like, she's had this potential this whole time, but she hasn't been able to express that until now, until Android 17 came back. So it's like, what have you guys been doing Android 18 this whole time? Like, she's been training too, so she should probably be quite powerful. But better late than never, I suppose. And yeah, their attacks hardly make him flinch, but I think they did a pretty good job because they scarred him a little bit. Gohan mentions to Piccolo that they should join them, or he really asked Piccolo if they should join them, and Piccolo does what I thought he was doing the whole time, is he isn't diving into battle because he doesn't want to power Moro up even more. So I think these guys, even though they're outclassed, these guys, the fact that they could actually put up a fight against this guy is pretty cool. That means all the side characters have improved greatly since the Tournament of Power, which I am a-okay with. And then we have Vegeta here showing up with instant transmission. He shows up in front of Goku with a smile on his face. Everybody's cheering for Vegeta. Basically, Vegeta is now in the role that Goku typically occupies. Everybody's smiling when he shows up and happy about it. And Vegeta, of course, uses this time to gloat on Goku. He says, well, don't you look pathetic. What? Did Ultra Instinct prove to be useless? Goku's quiet about it. But he's amazed that Vegeta just came in using instant teleportation. And Vegeta just says that he has no intention on pilfering Goku's signature move. And he says, again, we get so many excuses as to why he won't be using this technique anymore. That would have been fine, him just saying that he has no intention of pilfering Goku's move. But then he also says, gives us two more excuses. I likely wouldn't be able to pull it off again. Okay. All right. Well, you pulled it off perfectly this time, and you guys learned so fast that I doubt that you would not be able to use this move again. And then after that, he says he won't be learning it after this. So it's all contrived bullshit. Just say that he doesn't intend on stealing Goku's move again in the future, and just have him, just have him use it in an emergency, like whenever he's like down on the ropes and he just has to pull it out. But all these excuses they keep cutting for this technique just don't make sense, and I want them to stop. Anyway, he says to 17 and 18, that's enough, it's my turn. And then they turn around and they're surprised to see him. And Vegeta says, that one is mine. And Moro is glad to see Vegeta as well. And Vegeta cracks some jokes. I see that our time apart hasn't done a thing to fix that joke you call a face. And do you enjoy tormenting the weak? And Moro gives back just as much as he gets. He says, the weak? You aren't wrong. While the worms you were while you worms were hiding, I may have gone and become too powerful. And he trash talks some more, but I'm not gonna read all that. And actually I will because Vegeta has a good comeback here. Moro says, and I've grown weary of planets that cannot provide fighters to match me. And Goku's pissed at that. Goku's really pissed. But Vegeta smirks and says, oh, no cause for concern there. And then Vegeta goes, I don't know what you call this form, Ultra Blue. It's like the form beyond Mastered Blue. You remember when Mastered Blue, you had to keep your aura inside your body, but in this form, you just let your aura fly again. So I don't know why this form is stronger than Mastered Blue, because Mastered Blue is supposed to be the pinnacle to where you aren't wasting energy. But this form, I don't know. Maybe the energy is trapped inside, but you can also use it outside. It's so weird. It's so weird. That's kind of my problem with these new forms, is they continuously go against the rules we've already been taught. It's like a back and forth yo-yo in these forms. at the very least, it looks cool. It does look cool on the page. And then Vegeta's trash talks some more. He does that finger point he's known to do when he points to himself. You want someone stronger than you? You found him, he says as he points to himself. Everybody is shocked. Goku comments that, Gohan wonders if that's the Super Saiyan form that Vegeta used in the Tournament of Power. And Piccolo's not sure. Goku's amazed by his power, and Vegeta does this cool little pose before he jumps into battle, and that's going to end our chapter. So this chapter is very much so improved over the last one. I did enjoy this one quite a bit, whereas the last one I just thought, this is stuff I've seen before. It's just one fight with Goku and Moro. The choreography's not that good outside of a few panels, but this one has some really good choreography. It was really cool to see the androids get involved as well. I did like the explanations on the Ultra Instinct Omen here, and I do like Vegeta's training. What I don't like is how quickly Vegeta did learn instant teleportation. I think Pibar should have just brought him. But even if he was going to learn that, I feel like he probably should have learned it already. But I guess they wanted to have this excuse of Vegeta not being able to use it like whenever he wants. It's just something. And that's another thing I didn't like. I didn't like all the excuses they were given for Ultra Instinct, instant teleportation. I didn't like all the. It's just too much. It was too much from P-Bar to Vegeta. Everybody was having excuses for this thing. But other than that, man, this was pretty fun, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the next chapter. My predictions as far as what they're gonna do, because I think I'm right so far, right? You guys should let me know if you guys go back and watch those old reviews. I think I predicted this already, that Goku was going to take the fall, and that Vegeta was going to come in and do the deeds here. So I think another thing I predicted was that Vegeta ultimately wasn't going to get the W. I think it's going to come down to both of them getting the W. I think Vegeta's going to do really, really well here, but the rug's going to be pulled out from under him because we still got 7-3 in play. I think they're going to use 7-3 in some fantastical way. And 7-3 Moro and 7-3 may tag team against Goku and Vegeta here. I'm not too sure. I think that's why the androids were used here and were given such a big rub, because they're going to use 7-3 to do some really surprising stuff. Maybe next chapter, or depending on how long the arc takes, towards the end of the fight with Vegeta and Moro, they're going to use 7-3 in a big way. But I think Vegeta's going to do the job. And it's going to take both of them to actually take Moro down. So what I'm really curious about is Vegeta's new technique. That's going to be the thing to predict, because it could be anything. What I think is going to be, just looking at those Yardrats, how they were piled up like that, I think it's going to be an energy draining technique. I think it's going to be something similar to what Moro can do. But I don't know. It's a really good question. It's a really good question. What could he do with that? He takes people's ki and like reflects it back at him or something, maybe? Maybe it's a reflection technique. Maybe Vegeta takes whatever Moro dishes at him and turns it back on him. I think that's going to be what it is. Whatever it is, I don't think it's going to be as impressive as they're hyping it up to be. I think it's going to be something we've kind of seen before, probably in Dragon Ball. If it is a reflection technique, we have seen Tien already do something like that, but the writers seem to forget Tien has all these awesome techniques that he can use. I don't think it's going to be something we haven't seen before. I think it's going to be a variation of something we have seen before. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy this chapter as well. I certainly did, and I can't wait for the next one. So see you guys next time on the Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter review. Take care, guys. Till next time, peace.